But we are live, boys.
Let's
we
go.
are live here in Minneapolis. We have Hayden in the building. Got my guy Casey. You know, my
V-Con.
partner. You know what I'm saying? So,
V-Con.
man, it's been a lot. How you been, Brody?
I've been amazing, man.
Yeah,
today was so cool. Like just seeing so many like celebrities in our world in one place, in one shot, like mind blowing.
It's crazy. So just to give a context of what we got going on, we're talking about all kinds of stuff. We're talking marketing, strategy, content creation. You got over 100,000 on TikTok.
I did.
Man, that's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
When you reach that mark and you're like, whoa, like it is crazy. And we preach that. I preach that all the time. I've been getting Casey into it. And I think it's just a valuable conversation to have when it comes to content creation, because I feel like a lot of people are wanting to do content. And you have this one of a lifetime app called TikTok that's giving you that exposure. So how's your experience been on that, bro?
TikTok's interesting. You know, I think a lot of people get wrapped up in the algorithm. And for me, I try to not overthink the algorithm.
Yes.
I try to mostly focus on putting out things I'm proud of.
Yes.
And over time, we've put out over 500 videos, right? So we got to 100,000 followers, but we put in a lot of work to get to 100K. And I would say maybe 15 of those videos is probably 50,000 of those followers. Yeah. Right? And so when you start to look at it that way, you start to understand the algorithm's going to do what the algorithm's going to do. All you can control is your output and let the chips fall where they do.
See, I took the time to study the app, and I'm over here like, I see a pattern. I see always, you know, these other creators that focus on giving people the trends, but it's like, there's no point of following the trends if you don't have a plan behind it. Like, it's cool to follow the trend, but what else are you going to offer after
100%.
that trend is done?
100%.
That's the whole thing. Like, this sound is a trend or this effect is a trend. Hop on it right now. But what else? Like, give people more information. Like, if you're going to hop on this trend, find a way to also have a hook to bring them to you. Stay true to yourself. That's what I see. And
even looking at the creator, why do you want to create content talking about the trends? What are you going to do with that audience who's interested in the trends?
Yes.
Right. Well, what value are you bringing? Right. At the end of the day, it's always value, right, to your community. Exactly. What you build. What you bring. Like what was your passion, Hayden? Like getting started. Like what were you like? Once I get the following, I'm gonna do X with it. I'm gonna do Z with it. Like what was your main inspiration? Like
it's funny. Like I was actually quite late on TikTok in the sense of I was telling people to get on it way before I ever got on it.
Oh, dope.
And I only really got on it because I was actually having a conversation with my trainer. And I was telling him, I was like, yo, the fitness niche is crazy.
Facts.
You need to start producing TikToks.
Especially online. I mean, everything online. Like online in general, especially like it hit the fitness industry like by storm.
100%. And I was like, you got to start producing TikToks. And he genuinely asked me, he's like, oh, well, like, what do you do on TikTok? And I was like, well, I don't do TikTok. And he's like, well, why are you telling me to do it if you don't do it? That was on a Wednesday, bro. Wow. I literally called Jamie, the videographer. Yeah. I was like, I want to start my TikTok. The following Wednesday, we had our first shoot, and then we posted twice a day.
Did you know immediately, though, like what you wanted to talk about?
How long ago was this?
Or you're just like...
August 2021.
Like 6 months ago?
6 months ago.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, 8, 6, whatever.
Yeah. Did you know exactly the focus you wanted? Or was it like, let's just wing it and go with it?
So... To go back a step, I've been building my personal brand on Instagram for a long time. Okay. I don't have many followers now because I actually got my account deleted in December. And so I had to restart it. But I've been building my personal brand for a long time. So I knew it was something that I wanted to do. And then TikTok was just the opportunity, right? And it was one of those things where I was almost comfortable, you know, growing the Instagram, building a community. It was building my business. It was doing great. But when my trainer flipped it on me, I was like, man, I'm giving it out and I'm not doing it myself. Like I'm all talk, right? All bark, no bite. And that kind of lit the fire under me. And I set a goal for myself, an audacious goal. And I called myself out publicly. And I said, I want to get 100,000 in 30 days.
Wow.
Right? And
that's a huge goal.
That's a big goal.
That's huge.
Massive goal.
Manifest.
And I genuinely thought it was possible. Yeah. Boy, was I wrong, at least for me, my case. Yeah. But I genuinely thought it was possible. But back at this point, we didn't know, at least I didn't know how TikTok worked. And so the content we were putting out was very different. Like we were actually jumping on trends. Right. Wow. And we were giving like advice over here and then talking about agency operations over here and then talking about like how to be like in love with yourself over like talking all different shit. And then over time, I started to understand like what I wanted to focus on. For instance, like if I'm talking about like mindset and happiness and positivity, I realized I didn't have social proof yet that I was someone worth listening to. So those videos wouldn't do well. I didn't have fans yet. And so for me, I was like, okay, I got to give direct tactical advice that people can take and implement right away and find value out of.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I focused on.
And I feel like since you were diving so deep into how to get 100,000 followers in 30 days, like marketing was a big part of that. So
100%.
maybe that's why you focused more on like, how do you get TikTok famous instantly? How do you market yourself on TikTok and build that community?
So listen to this. Like I had actually like a 6-layer plan to test a bunch of shit. And so the whole thesis of my first 30 days, we were going to start a hashtag called fuck that guy. And the call to action was basically going to be like, yo, my trainer doesn't believe I can get 100,000 in 30 days, which we fabricated. Yeah. Like he just kind of challenged me, but he didn't say I couldn't do it, but we story told it like, yo, he said I couldn't get to 100,000. He should believe in me. Fuck that guy. So we had this overlying campaign across the first 30 days. We were trying all different shit. And I was like, yo, as we hit different goals, we're going to get back to the community. So at 25K, we're going to like pay down someone's student tuition a little bit. At 50K, we're going to do this, 75, and we're going to implement that. Then I want to get a producer to actually make like a fuck that guy anthem, and we're going to use that as a sound and try to make the sound go viral. We're also going to get the fuck that guy shirt, and we're really going to try to create a movement. So when you see where I'm at right now, and you realize that was the thesis from day one, completely flopped. We actually realized we got shadow banned because we were just swearing so much. And this is what
saying fuck that guy.
Exactly. This is what I mean. And so you know, I hope that inspires anyone who's trying to start their TikTok account. That's where I started.
Wow.
Was doing shit like that, and it evolved into this.
Always.
But that's what I love, and I think there was something about your content. It showed up on my For You page several times. I'd like it, and I'd be like, I like the energy. You started off good. But I got some like kind of energy where it's like, I'm just going to start. And I'm going to go through trial and error, but I'm going to start. And because a lot of people like to wait and like, oh, the perfect moment when I'm ready. But it's like, just jump.
You just got to jump. And through all that process, you got R&D. Like R&D for you, just build. Like, fuck that guy. This work didn't work out. We got shadow banned for this. I learned this. Like, and then it just evolves. Like,
you just nailed it, right?
Yeah.
That failure now became a story I just told to hopefully inspire others, which we're going to put on TikTok.
Yes.
So when you start to see how it all works, everything could be in the perspective of, you know, a good thing.
So what I've noticed is like, before TikTok, the Instagram, you have your followers and most of the people that you know. So it's like, I feel like a like or a follow or a comment is so like very, how do you say it? Very prideful compared to TikTok, where it's like you get a lot of strangers are like commenting, I support it, I like this content, let me like it, let me follow. And everybody on Instagram is worried about the whole follow to follower to follower ratio kind of thing. But TikTok, nobody gives a fuck. They're there. Creators are being themselves. There's been people with all kinds of disability, all kinds of like, they're just different, but they're there putting the content because they know that people are going to relate to them. So that's what I've noticed. I study the app a lot, and because
I think Instagram's interesting because everyone on that platform, for the most part, let's say 99% of people are a creator on Instagram, right? Everyone's put at least one photo up. Right?
Yeah.
That now makes you in the game of caring what other people think about your page, caring what other people think about your follower ratio. You start to care about what people think because it's like the cultural establishment of who you are. Versus on TikTok, I don't know the percentage breakdown, but I would argue it's like 95% of people on TikTok at least don't create. So I feel like they're a lot more open to just following, showing love, commenting, because they don't see their profile as a reflection of them on TikTok. And that's why I think there's a little bit of a different dynamic there, but it makes the follow more valuable on Instagram because they're like really vouching for you.
Right.
There's a little bit of everything. I think it's very interesting, but I've seen several creators that also focus on the For You page instead of their actual following, right? Because the For You page is obviously what's going to get you the following, right? It's going to get you the attention. But like, for example, there's this guy that does interviews to ladies and he asks them the same question, but it's just a different lady every single time. And his content is based off of the For You page instead of the follower page. So it looks very repetitive and he's focusing on that. And a lot of creators fall into that like hole of like, let me just focus on the For You page to get more followers and not focus on building a brand and building my own community. And they kind of fall off, you know, long term, they're not 100%. Looking.
So, I mean, that's a big topic, but all right. So Hayden, right? We're me and Darwin and I, we're doing this mic thing and we're walking around and we're trying to meet people.
Half-court edition.
That's what it's called.
Yes,
open mic.
We call it
half-court edition. And I'm the one filming Darwin, so I'm filming and I'm watching him talk to Hayden, and Hayden's got this OVO sweater on. He got this badass OVO sweater. Yep. And he presumes, you'll see later in the clips, talking about a documentary with Drake on before Thank Me Later, and I was just like, bro, you got to tell me more about
on MTV,
this.
like a legitimate doc.
Yeah, that is so
I'm surprised
cool.
he hasn't even pushed that. I think that's huge.
I feel like that content is huge, especially him grinding before. I'm sure he was going through Houston clubs. He used to perform Houston clubs all the time.
Yep.
That Mo City Don by Zero.
Yeah.
He just killed that one time at a whole club. I mean,
There's actually a clip. I don't know where he's at. I feel like it might have been Nashville, but he's in like a bar almost that has like 300 people, but he is like getting there. Like he has like Forevers out and Overs out.
Forever
and
with
like,
Eminem.
like that shit's out. And so he's like opening for Jay-Z. Like he's doing shit, but it's like a bar for like maybe 300 people, but the streets are like filled. And it's like the sound is horrible. And he actually gets like pissed after the show because he's like, man, like everyone came out and they partied and stuff, but they didn't put on a good show. Yeah. And what you'll see in this documentary, I'll send it to you guys, is that he had the mentality from day one. Like he was very focused on the show didn't go well. He wasn't worried about the parties. He wasn't worried about fraternizing.
it was the consumer. It was
quality over the quantity.
He was focused.
That's cool.
I can't wait because I
Big
told
hip hop
Casey.
head then. Big hip hop head.
Man, I used to make rap music.
Oh, word.
Tell me about these days.
Yeah,
okay, what?
So
You got some bars right now you can spit?
we're good on that right now. We're good on that right now. We're good on that.
Bro,
that's a good host. That's a good host.
You got at least give me at least.
I mean, that was a good query. I call that the Darwin Theory.
Shit. Man,
Okay,
can you rap, Casey?
So tell me, bro, I cannot spit. That is one thing. No.
See, I'm the
could
total
go bar
opposite.
for bar for a song.
I can do
know.
Spanish. I can do Spanish. I can't rap in English for shit.
You can rap in Spanish.
Yeah.
That's
I did a
crazy.
little freestyle a long time ago.
I wouldn't know
and I
if
did a
you're rhyming
music
the right
video to
words,
it, but I mean, you probably won't understand. But like, it went like this. It says like this: 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, probando. Y algo levecito, motor estoy calentando. You know, it's just
Hide the Latinas. Hide the Latinas.
You know what I'm saying?
Minneapolis, Minnesota. Watch out.
Man, the whole thing is crazy because we're in Minneapolis. We're at the VCon conference. And like, it's just crazy like how I recognize you. I was like, that face looks familiar.
Darwin called it out right away.
Yes, and we're just with our mic. We're ready to go. And I seen you and I'm like, wow, like people are out here. And like, bro, I was like, TikTok?
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
Knew
It's
it.
a space for creators,
Yes.
right? Like a space.
And that it was a big moment for me because this is the first time I've ever left my city and been recognized.
What got you to be like, all right, I'm gonna go down here and let's make something happen?
A VCon?
Yeah.
What brought you to VCon? How did it all?
So I got Series 1. And so I had the ticket. I've been a massive Gary fan. My man Jacob put me on Gary in 2017.
Shout out Jacob.
And funny enough, remember I told you boys I had a story for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so in 2018, Jacob runs his podcast, and he made a promise to himself. When he gets to 15 episodes, he's going to go to New York and shoot with big people in New York. And so I was like, I'll come with you. I'll be the camera guy. And so
the tables have turned.
And so literally we go to
Jacob got Gary coming.
2 months before the trip, all we did was work in the DMs. We're talking to as many people as we can. Everyone who's tagging the New York filter, who's big, we're DMing them, hey, we're here for 5 days. If you carve out 1 hour, we'll come to you. We'll give you all the content. You'll love it. It'll be great, right? We just hustled, and we got there for 5 days, and we shot 10 podcasts with big people. We got into VaynerMedia twice. We got into Gary Vee's office. We met Buster. We met Blaze French. We met so many people. And it reminds me of what you guys are doing. Like you guys showed up to the conference and you're like, yo, let's mosey around. Let's talk to as many people as we can. And like this setup's crazy. Like you guys aren't fucking around.
Man, I love it.
So it's really cool to see.
And to me, it's surreal because it's like you, Hayden, you got an entourage. Shout out to the crew. We got Canada. And who's from Atlanta? Who's from Atlanta? Atlanta in the building. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's awesome to find somebody that has the same vision, the same hunger,
and bro, first. That's not the entourage. Those are all super successful people crushing shit. And it's like the circle is so important, right? We were just at dinner and luckily we got a circular table. So we're literally in a round table and we're just talking like elevation chats, right? And we're inspiring each other. Deepak and Jacob were actually like having a little bit of a debate of like what Jacob should do next in his career. And like, it was really cool and everyone's putting their impact in and we're all like inspiring each other. And that's so important.
I always tell Darwin. I said, that's what it's a two-part two-party system. That's what kind of sucks. But what we've always done as Americans is we get together with our smartest people and we debate. That's what Congress does. They debate problems and we come up with a bigger solution. You do it with your team. Team gets together. It's the war table. Let's debate. Yeah. And let's be open to each other's opinions and what that is, because that's how we grow. I mean, two minds is better than one.
Yeah, 100%.
So insane.
Even it's funny, like last night Deepak really challenged me. We were having a conversation because this guy, he left Canada, went to Colombia. He's now in the US. He's like in Miami, then in New York, then in LA, and now here. He's just bouncing around, right? And I was like, honestly, bro, like I don't like to, because he's trying to get me to do the same shit. And I'm like, I don't like to travel. And he's like, and he goes, that's a limiting belief. And it fucked me up. I haven't even told him this yet.
When he said that. Love that. So, it is a limiting belief. Travel opened my mind. Yes. I mean, having a conversation with somebody in a different community, in different habitats, life, you're gonna learn something.
Okay, Hayden. So what makes you think like you don't like travel? What is it? Have you gotten out and like had a bad experience?
Or the focus of being where you're at?
Yeah, for me, I really like my routine. First of all, like I love, my routine. I love my space, and I love to actually just get into deep work in my space and in peace and quiet.
That's interesting.
That's fair though.
It is fair, but at the same time, it's like you never know what can happen when you go and put yourself out there, and like as you travel, you're meeting other people. That's what I've learned, and then you just it opens your eyes to so much things.
But every time I do travel, I do get out of routine.
Yeah,
and routine
it
does change, and it's so hard to keep, whether that's your fitness goals, whether that's what you want to consume and eat.
Yeah,
like it's hard when
it gets you out of track. Because I mean, when we get back, now we got to set up everything in the studio. I got to get back to my routine, work. It's a lot, but it's like,
but to your point, that spontaneous, that's random connection that you meet that you 100%. Never thought you would.
And it's funny, like there was another person that was supposed to come on the trip, and then there was a person who like last minute came on the trip. And the person who last minute came on the trip is like, man, I'm so happy I did it. And we're thinking the other person is like kind of kicking himself, seeing the stories, right? And so it's just like, I think when you're out of it, before it happens, you like have these things, but once you're in it, you'll never regret it. And that's why I think he's right. And I almost got to rewire my brain.
Yes. It's a lot of things. You have to, I think that's what it comes down to. Cause I'll give you the perfect example. Like we drive here, we have 11-hour drive, but like even before that, like a couple of days before, I was just stressing about it. I'm like, man, the equipment is going to be a thing. Cause we still didn't know if we wanted to fly.
Yeah.
Like,
is the Airbnb going to be
suited for it? Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm locked in, I'm focused. Like I just had a lot going on. And I even told Casey, I was like, bro, I'm glad we did this. I'm glad we're on our way over here. We don't know what to expect, but the fact that we're in here, we got the equipment, that was stressing me out, but we figured it out. Let's drive.
100%.
It worked out. And we got to meet amazing people. Like
if you build it, they will come.
Who was the first like moment today at VCon that was like an amazing moment for you?
Today,
my favorite today was Mark, the co-founder of Iconic.
Yeah,
just a cool dude, man. And it just came up just like networking, talking, and then at Sneakers, he was a sneakerhead because their new like Project Metrics. I don't want to pronounce it wrong, but is sneaker gear.
They got the sneaker of nature, something like that. Yeah,
I feel like it was just like a solid connection. He was just a genuine dude. He wanted to connect with different people. So for me, that was like the coolest little interaction I had today.
I love it,
man. For me, I think it was just. To be honest, I saw Jeremy today and I saw you, and it was like TikTokers that I'm like tapped in. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jeremy. He's around there having the time of his life. But I think overall, there's really, from when we wake up till we get there, I think everything is just so, because as you go, as you're on your way, as you're in the line, you always meet genuine people. And 100%. I think that's what gave
What about you?
Well, where I was going to go with it is like, you were saying, you were worried on like before you got here about the equipment, about everything, right? When me and Jacob went to New York, same thing. On day 2, we met, do you know Buster Share, Hoops Nation?
Oh, Hoops Nation.
Buster, yeah. And he hosts the NBA, or not the basketball tournament with all the artists.
Okay.
With Drewski. Anyway, so he's a legit guy. And like on day 2 of our New York trip, we met him. We went to his like apartment building. We shot, and then he took us to the roof, and we watched the sunset in like a rooftop in Manhattan.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? And like, and I remember me and Jacob were like, this was day 2, and we're like, yo, if nothing else happens this trip, it was worth it.
Yes.
Right. And so I always look for that first win to just be like, oh, we're supposed to.
And have you not been out, like, like you wouldn't have that experience. And I think it's all about experience, because one day we're going to get old and we won't be able to move, and we're, so it's like, take advantage now, explore the world, network.
My whole take on it is like, I'm really earthy and I'm really like universe. And my favorite book is by Paul Coelho, The Alchemist. And it's just like, follow your omens, and like just preparation meets opportunity. Just be prepared. You don't know what opportunity you're gonna meet, which makes it harder to be prepared, because you're like, this could be an ultimate failure. But like, if you prepare it, the good omens will come. You just send that good energy, and then what good tracks good.
Were you guys at the Jesse Itzler chat?
No, I wasn't at the Itzler. I think we were probably just going around with the mic. We missed a few that we wanted.
One thing he was saying is like, put yourself in positions to get lucky. So being at VCon today, right? You put yourself in a position to get lucky. So you're preparing, but you're also not sitting in your basement. Like you're putting yourself in a position where the right person could come along and changes your life.
Yes.
And you're not pondering, is everything going to be perfect? The only way I can do it is if XYZ is lined up. No, the only way you do it is just do it. Even if XYZ don't line up, you're still going to end somewhere.
Our balance is pretty good, because I'll be the one stressing about stuff, and Casey's like, Darwin, just go with it, bro. Let's just let it be. Let the omens, let the universe be. And I'm like, you're right, bro. Let me just go with it, because I think about it too much. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, I'm always trying to be on point, but it's like sometimes it's just like, just go with it, you know? So I think that's huge, but it's amazing, man. So if somebody comes to you and they don't know you and they ask you, hey, what do you do for a living, Hayden? What do you tell them?
I run a paid ads agency. So layman's terms, I run Facebook, Instagram, Google, TikTok ads for businesses to try to drive business results. And then I have a second organization which teaches marketing skills to either help people get their first jobs, get a promotion, start their own agency, whatever they want to do with the skills.
Man, it's crazy that you say that. We were talking about our last podcast that, like, I had, because I work at Verizon and I work part-time there. But I remember helping this customer, and I was just, they do an upgrade. They're talking about the iPhone thing, and I always have these jokes about how iPhone finds a way to profit every year. First of all, they got rid of the headphone jack. You know what I'm saying? Made us buy AirPods. Now they got rid of the power brick that connects to your wall to save the environment, because everybody has their own power brick, but they ship you the Type-C cable that nobody has. So like now you got to spend an extra $20.
100%.
So my theory was, like, I was telling them, like, hey, they're going to get rid of either change it to Type-C or get rid of it and have you buy the MagSafe one. And then the lady that I was helping, she was into marketing. She was like, you're pretty good. You kind of like get these things and you should consider it. And being like, I have the half cores at 70K on TikTok, and I have a Spanish podcast that is at 166K.
Wow.
So it's like, I know how and what people want to see on TikTok. I know what is a good clip, and like, I'm studying it.
You know what's sorry to cut you off. But we were just talking about this at dinner, because Deep runs a TikTok agency, and we were saying you can't find someone and teach them how to see good content. Right? You can teach them like, yo, once you have the clip, this is how you edit it. But if you give them an hour podcast, there's some people who can see gold and there's some people who can't. Right? And we were talking about that challenge.
And I think that's Darwin's question, is like, how does he monetize what he's good at?
And
I
that's
think
what I'm trying to figure out,
his
because
way in the space.
my whole thing is like, I took Gary's advice full on, right? I used to work for a call center at this big company, internet provider, cable provider, and I was working mad 10 to 12 hours, and I was miserable, because deep down I wanted to do content. So I took Gary's advice, and I was making good money, but I was like, I'm not happy. So what I did is I calculated all my bills, I cut down on some bills, and I was like, I'm gonna go part-time. So what I did is I saved up for about 6-8 months, and they did a little bit of freelancing, and then I found a job at Verizon part-time, and I sacrificed. So I'm like, that part-time is going to help me do this. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to go back to a full-time job, because I feel like I need some extra income. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to exchange my time for money. I want to find ways to,
and so
what I've learned, take it to the next level.
So the quickest way to do it is to have a business outside of it all. Right? I have the agency, Deep has the agency. So it could be something where you take your skills and you're like, okay, we're really good at editing podcasts. So I'm not going to do it. I'm going to build a team that can do it. I'm going to train them how to do it. I'm going to look for the people that can see content, and I'm going to understand that some people can't, but they may be on the editing team if they can't see it. And then these people may be on the, just cut the clip and send it to the editors. Right. And so you build that. And so all of a sudden, you can intertwine it into the podcast. So while we're talking right now, you could talk about your business, cut that clip. That's kind of what I do a lot of times in my content, is I don't say I run an ads agency. I'll give a tip. And in the tip, I'll be like, at our ads agency, we 10X the client by doing this. and give the tip. And so it's intertwined. You know what I mean?
So when you first started, did you start organically? Did you have capital, or did you start like if Darwin's at Verizon and he like wants to, I mean, an LLC is $150 to create, right? Create the LLC, create an agency. How did you market your first client? How did you say, hey, you want me to be the agency that grows your TikTok?
How do you provide them value?
Did you grow organically or did you grow with capital?
No capital. I mean, my story's a little different because I actually wasn't looking to start a business.
Sure.
It kind of fell into, I was just telling people what I was up to. And then people were like, hey, do you want to, do something for us? And then one client leads to the next. And so for me, I actually had a full-time job and was building up the client roster. And then at one point I was like, okay, I have 3 clients that want to join the roster, but I can't take them on because I have the full-time. Sure. If I quit the full-time and take on the 3 clients, my income will drop to half of what it is right now, but I'll free up 30 hours a week.
That's organic.
Right?
That's great.
Yes. So for me, it was a very logical transition. I never felt like I jumped off a cliff and prayed. It really was like, okay, this is the safest it could ever be. And I'm young. Like if it doesn't work out, I'll just get another job.
Yes, you can always go back.
And so I was going to get to 2 things for you. I think that's the first way that you could go about it, is use your skills to build the team and just create an agency. Or you go the other route where you're like, I want to be a content creator. I understand TikTok's going to get me a lot of eyeballs, but I have to find a way to build depth so I can then sell merch. So then I can sell, VIP experiences to watch it live. Crazy. So then I can monetize on YouTube. Yes. So you can either become the creator or you can become the business owner. You can become both, but you want to do one first. And so that's where I would go with it.
So yeah, I was telling Casey that I was like, Brody, I think we should obviously create merch and wear it. Just wear it. And so we start building a community to the point where once we're ready to launch, they're like, but we need this shirt. Like we had 3 people say hey, this shirt looks nice. I would buy one. I was like, oh shit.
You know what's funny? While you were setting up, I then realized it was a half-court shirt, but I thought it was dope at the whole time.
I love it. I think the colors, I just came up, my graphic designer, and I'm like, just put all the colors because I feel like it represents a little bit of everybody. And, so.
Would you ever think of taking out podcasts, taking out that logo and creating the brand Half Court? And then it becomes agnostic, right? It could be a gym line. It could be whatever, because it's not so tied to the podcast.
Great input.
And then, so Half Court is the brand. And then the podcast is a vertical. The merch is a vertical. The Half Court TikTok agency is a vertical. The Half Court, course
Empire.
So Half Court just becomes the standalone brand, and then there's verticals off of it.
Oh, I like that.
Just like for me, right? Like Cashion is the brand. We have marketing. I also have this little candle business that I do. We're going to have Cashion creators soon. We're going to have Cashion clothing down the way. So I see it's the same model, right?
I can see it, the Cashion podcast.
It's just building brand.
Boom.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man,
and I think the only other subject we didn't talk on, because I like that too, but even you're good at creating good content, I feel like, and you finding a brand that you really like, we talked about it, and you giving them free content that you created for
value.
Them.
It's always value.
And they end up liking that, and then you end up being part of that team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's always value for me. That's how I see it, is provide value first. It's like Gary Vee. I mean, he did it the long game, talked about NFT, talked about, and he's like, I'm providing value for free. So when I launch, whatever I launch, you guys are going to be there for me.
Well, you're going to know the community already has that trust.
Yes.
You built the trust.
Yes. And I always think about it when I came in this game, it's all about longevity, really, because I've seen my favorite creator turn into this sellout. They get into NFT scams or crypto scams or whatever the case is, and they just going for the quick buck. And it's nah, I'm thinking about this long game as this creator economy keeps growing, as more people start making brand deals, money. It's all about, the creator economy. I mean, you think about the Gary Vee impersonator, he's a TikToker here.
Yep.
He got to open up for Gary Vee.
It's all just creative ideas. Like the guy that gives free haircuts to little kids.
Vic Blends.
Oh yeah, that is just
right. And I knew it right away.
What a great idea.
That to me, and then there's people have gone creative. Because there's a DoorDasher that does it in bikes, right? I'm pretty sure you've seen him.
Yep.
He goes, in his bike, delivers. There's one that I was telling Casey, he goes and somebody orders a McGriddle or whatever, and he'll order the same order, and before he delivers it to you, he's eating it. This McGriddle's good. To get their reaction, and they're like, oh, no, I don't want that, bro. I got an extra order. I'm just playing with you.
Yeah.
So people have found ways to just be creative and just grow. We got a once-in-a-lifetime platform.
There's no excuse.
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, we're talking your story. You were at the point where you limited your full-time job to take on these 3 clients, and then you went from working for somebody to creating your own stuff. Like, and that anybody can do it. And I think just stories like this and stories like yours just helps people see that anything's possible.
And it takes a lot, right? Because we are very, because I like to pick everybody's brain. So I'm at my job and I'm picking everybody's brain. One wants to be a gamer, and they're just like, I don't have time, I work too much, or this. And I'm like, not everybody has that mindset of like sacrifice. Let's map it out, and
just do it. There's no mapping it out.
The thing, people don't see.
They look at me and they're like, I wish I can go part-time. It's like, just do it. Sacrifice.
People don't see the chess, right? They see, oh, I'm going to do this for this person and I'm not going to get anything back right away. And then they stop. But I'm like, man, I'm going to do something for all these people because, for instance, when I launched the Modern Marketing Certificate, right, I have an amazing roster of teachers because I called in all my favors. You know, I'd given value to all these people in the future. So when I hit them, they're like, I'm in.
Yeah, they're there.
You know what I mean? And so I didn't know when I gave to them that would be what would happen. But if you're constantly in a place, because every time you give to someone, you know, and this doesn't sound great, but it's true. Every time you give to someone, there's now subconscious leverage.
Subconscious debt that you owe. Yeah.
That's what I mean. They feel like they have to give you something back. They can't even help it. That's a human trait.
Especially a good person. Yeah. Some
100%.
people take. But yeah, I totally agree with you. But that's the part of the network. You know what I'm saying? It's like the old grandfather that lives in a community. And it's like when his daughter's car breaks down, he's got Mike at the body shop. He's got Papa at this shop. You know what I mean? That's it.
And they all take care of each other.
Yes.
It's same thing we're building with the crew. Same thing with you guys, probably with your crew. It's just like, yo, if I need something, I hit Deep. He hooks me up. If Deep needs something, I hook him up. And like, that's what happens. It's family.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about, man.
Yep.
It's we're very blessed to be in this time where we have so many opportunities, so many options, and we're just breaking boundaries. I mean, I love to study this creator economy because I think it's just it's
the next evolution. Like the digital ads landscape, what these social media platforms are going to have to start doing is distributing to creators, right? Right now, it's brands pay dollars and Facebook keeps them, and they just put the ads in the feed.
Right.
But as you're seeing with the domination of TikTok, creators are going to own these platforms. That's why Reels is going to start to dominate. Like, it's all going to be creator driven. So what are these ad products going to have to do? The advertisers are going to pay, and they're going to have to split it between the creator and Facebook, kind of like YouTube does, right?
Yes.
That's going to happen across the board. And so what happens is when every single platform is an opportunity for anyone to make money, you know, if you're posting on everything, it becomes, you know, especially when the organic reach is crazy, just if you make good content, then it becomes very feasible to make a living. You know, not crazy money, but it's just like, man, like if you love to cook, boom, you make your 60, 70K, right?
That's it.
But you get to do what you love.
Yes, that's huge.
So question, does Elon buying Twitter open algorithm, does that change things with him opening the algorithm?
I'm way too non-nerdy to know.
Okay.
I don't even want to get into that stuff. Like that's just not
what do you think on the subject in general?
Nothing. Like I don't know much about Elon because
are you like,
I mean, yeah, freedom of speech is great. Okay. Like it's just something that for me, I'm so about like, you give me the rules and I'll just navigate them. Sure. I don't care about what the rules end up being. Like just settle them and we'll all, as long as we all play by the rules, like let's go.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. That's start. But not everyone has the same opportunities in that system. That's a different subject, but
yeah. It's interesting. I mean, I think going back to the whole TikTok and getting paid, I think, I don't know if you're informed of, like, they're coming out with something called TikTok Pulse or something where they're going to start paying actual ad revenue to the creators. So I'm curious to see how that goes because I feel like there's a couple of good creators there. There's, you know, it's getting there where every day I feel like a new creator is growing. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So I'm curious to see if there's enough because that creator fund was really not it.
It was not
talking about cents.
Yeah.
I'm making sense, you know, and it's just like, man.
So you think you and the team will create an NFT project one day? Like do the following?
It's funny. We were just talking about this.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to talk about here.
I have no ambitions to create an NFT project. I think like people underestimate how excruciatingly difficult it is to have success.
Especially now.
Yeah, like I know people and I hear it all the time, like they're starting their NFT project and I'm just in the back of my head, I'm like, it's like one of the top hardest things to do to sustain value for a community forever. Like, think about it. It's so difficult.
Forever.
It's not even something I'd want to
true.
think about right now.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it
fair.
that way, but it is
No,
true.
I
You want to
totally-
look long game.
Because now too, like, this is a great way to ruin your reputation.
Yes.
You take income in and lose it for all your biggest fans. It's over.
We were just talking about negative news. Like, negative news kills. Negative this, negative on a subject, like, kill. But do you really want to put that out to the world just to get the comments and the views? Because at the end of the day, I just feel like it just doesn't. You always just got to be you.
So
100%.
Yeah, and it's just like, as long as you stay true to yourself, because I mean, negative, right? And I think, for example, what thrives on TikTok is negative is women showing their ass. It's a
Maybe
lot
that,
of,
you know, it's a For You algorithm, brother.
Yes. So it's like, you know, we got people in the building. What up,
Yo,
what up
yo.
with y'all? So, I mean, I think to me, it's just like, you have to just stay true to yourself. Cause when I started, I was like, what do I do? Do
Yeah.
I hop on trends? Do I, you know, and
Darwin's
it's-
looking at ass.
I'm looking at ass and I'm like, fuck, do I want to jump into this rabbit hole? So I just started like, not interested.
Yeah.
Looks big. It looks juicy, but not interested.
Not interested.
No, you know. And I just wanted my For You page to be of value and like good content so I can absorb that and just be like, now how can I apply it to my content?
Yeah.
And, you know, you was one. There's Jeremy over here. There's, you know, Gary V.
I got a question for you. So since you're really good at seeing content and creating really good content, what is the number one thing that you look to do in your TikToks?
So I like to, it's podcast. So it's pretty much me reusing what we do today. And like, okay, what is a good, to me, I look at the value.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if it gets 3,000 views, but if those 3,000 people were able to get some kind of value from it.
Like the topics, you mean? Like,
Yeah, the
what-
topics. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. And just, I like,
Do you do any ever like editing where like you'll take the actual like biggest moment, put it at the front as like a quick hook?
I did it for Casey's story, and I was experimenting with it because Casey said his Columbia story where he got he thought he
Basically, it
was
was the
lose
first
his
time I
life.
thought I was going to die.
Yes,
It was
so
in Medellin.
there wasn't
That makes sense.
the story was amazing, but there wasn't like an initial like, why is people tuning into Casey's story?
Right.
So there was one part where he was like, I got a gun pointed to me and I thought I was gonna die, so I used that part, put some dramatic music, black and white, and used that to get people's attention, and it worked.
100%.
So that's the thing I look at, you know.
And another great insight you dropped there is storytelling.
Storytelling.
We were just talking about this yesterday about I have this one TikTok that did super well, and it's a very niche topic, but it's a great story. And because of that, it got hundreds of thousands of views when honestly that topic should have done less than 10,000 on a typical day for me. And it's that story when people get, addicted to it. And that's what I always tell a lot of my clients is like, okay, if you want to say these 3 things in your content, these are like the 3 things you want to sell them on. Instead of just saying them like, hey, we're the lowest price, instead of that, tell a story that includes the showcase of it within it, because subconsciously people get wrapped into a story and listen till the end. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
I think the whole marketing and like how that works and how brands market, I'm fascinated by it because it's just like how they place things. Like if you use like, for example, an ice cream, they'll want you to, they'll have the bowl with the spoon because they want people to envision they having the ice cream, So it's like, I study that kind of thing and I'm like, it's interesting. So when I do an ad for like my merch, I'm going to do it on some lifestyle based.
Yeah.
Because I like to do video too. So I'll do like, Casey, let's do a video of us maybe working out at the gym and we have the merch. It's comfortable. It's like lifestyle where people can see themselves like, oh, I can use that and support them and use that for the gym. Awesome. So
there's so many cool like psychological things like that. Next time you go in a cereal aisle, you'll see all the logos on the cereal. If they're a mascot or something, they look down because they're looking at the kid. Looking up,
like cereal.
All these
merchandising is
all
a
these
big part.
these psychological things, very fascinating.
I heard also when you go grocery shopping, they don't have windows, but they also don't have clocks. So that way you forget about time and you're just there,
Like
just
a
buying,
casino too,
buying,
same thing.
buying. Yes.
Yeah.
Craziest theory.
Little
You
small
any
things.
theories? You had any like crazy like conspiracy theories? What's
Theories?
anything that's been on your topic lately?
I don't think
The
Gary
boys
Vee's a
talk
human.
about.
I don't think
What?
Gary Vee's a human, bro.
He's a rare robot.
I mean, yeah, when you look at the amount of like things that man does in a day, every single day, all the time, I just couldn't imagine being able to do that much, like energetically.
Yeah.
And
he's
so,
got a girlfriend 20 years younger than him. Man.
She looks great. She looks great.
My boy Gary's doing
Patience.
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 Patient
man.
panda, man.
That's a good question, because we even asked that like ourselves, like, how does this man does it? I mean, he got a company that, you know, has 1,000 employees.
Yeah.
You know, he's big into content, has this now VFriends where he has to give his time to the holders.
I think that was the biggest thing. Seeing him build this out, because I knew when he first launched it, I mentioned the FaceTime Fly, he was like, the only reason I gave these 3 conferences is to give me 3 years to build the IP.
Yep.
And like this first year, seeing it all, like him building the IP and how far he's gone in a year, 12 months. Like, bro, give this man 72 months. Like, I'm down. Let's see what's up.
You know what really hit me today in his opening keynote was when he was like, you know, all your grandchildren will interact with VFriends.
That's crazy.
I thought that was so fascinating. Yeah. And like, we're in the cusp of it. We're in the beginning of it, like of this thing that's going to impact the world in theory, right?
And I mean, just seeing him operate gives me like, just like, you can do anything. You can build a community, and he just migrates with other brands. He brings in he uses his network. The favors he's always done, they collaborate with VFriends. All those companies are willing to collaborate with VFriends because of his network. Yeah,
I think it's why we were talking about. We've been having such amazing conversations, and we were talking to a couple of friends that we met. It's just like, we're like, when the internet first came out, you know, we're just like, this NFT thing is new, but we're here in the early stages, and the more information we get, the better, the more ahead we are, because I always say it all the time. Yeah. I work at a cell phone place. Yeah. We get a lot of old people, and they just like, I don't know how to work this phone. And I'm like, you have the world in the palm of your hands, where if you're like disabled at your house, you need some medication, you can just hit a press of a button and somebody's delivering it to you.
100%.
All you got to do is take the time to learn it. That's it, you know?
It's funny, like, just think about, like, we're here right now for VFriends, right? And we're all deep into VFriends, and we're all excited about VFriends. We're talking about VFriends. You go to anyone on the street and say the word VFriends, they've never heard of it in your life.
Never heard of it.
And so when you start to realize,
Gary V, I'm like, what?
That's it. And when you start to realize just like how knowledgeable we are about VFriends and how unaware the world is, it's just like
there's opportunity.
We're so far ahead, and if we continue to educate ourselves and stay ahead, we'll be able to strike.
Nice. Yeah. Good. It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. So as we were interviewing you, we found out about Hayden. He likes hip hop. What else do you like, bro? What do you do on your free time?
Golf. I golf a lot.
Oh, golfer.
I've been wanting to get into it. I've been wanting to get into it just to see if I got it, if I got the swings. So that's definitely on my list this summer to just get into more golf. You do.
Oh yeah. Well, all my clients.
Your clients. Yeah. Is that where y'all do meetings?
That's where I learned really.
Yeah. You have a cigar and
a lot
shit.
of Native American casinos. I don't know if we talked about it. Yeah. But yeah, all of them love to golf. Not great. Love my scramble tournaments.
There we go.
Best ball.
We're all here.
Yeah. We're all here. We're having a beer. We're cool.
Yeah. I get to smoke a cigar sometimes, or no?
Oh yeah, all the time. Oh, cigars all the time.
Yeah,
mandatory.
I always see Jordan, so I'm like,
maybe a little green on the greens before.
Yeah, in the last
right? Yeah, man. So you like golf, hip hop,
work.
That's
it. I love shooting content too. I really love building my personal brand and interacting with the community. I think that gives me a lot of energy, a lot of happiness. Like just building those relationships online, and then coming to a place like this and seeing them manifest into the physical.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. That's how we are. And that's the thing. I feel like everybody in this Minneapolis, Minnesota at VCon, everyone's been that way. Everyone's like, hey, they're willing to share. They're willing to say what they do. Or
that's a big point. I was talking to some people who've been to like other NFT events. I've never been to one before.
Yeah, me, first one.
But other people are like, man, at these other events, they're super cliquey. Everyone here is so nice. Everyone here is like if you see someone by themselves, someone will go up to them and just start talking to them, right?
Yes.
And just like they all want to share and they all want to be friends. They're all scanning each other's apps. Like I said, I haven't been to other events, but I just heard from other people. Like they're like, this is different energy.
Totally right. I go to 3 gaming conferences a year. I have for the past 8 years. And gaming conferences, it's who you know, what company you're clicked with. Yeah. And it's so hard.
Everybody's in their own bubble.
Everyone's in their own bubble.
I think that's not the point. The point is just to be able to share different experiences, network.
Yep.
And I love it.
You know what's interesting? I just realized it's very much how Gary builds culture. Right?
Culture.
Like I bet you if you go to VaynerMedia, it's similar vibes. Like everyone's feeling like family, friends, right? You come here, it's the same thing. Everyone feels like a family, even though it's the first time we met.
Just building that culture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, I mean, let's just spice it up a little bit. Okay. I mean, we got you with the open mic, caught you off guard.
That was
you
fun.
Said
that was fun.
Your favorite rapper is who?
Well, my all-time's Eminem.
Eminem?
100%.
Eminem. Favorite Eminem song?
Favorite Eminem song? Ooh. It has to kind of be Till I Collapse, I think. Like,
dang, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine's You're Never Alone, because him and Proof, bro. And that shout out to Proof.
Yeah, man.
When he does it, yeah, that was cool.
That's a hard one. He's a legend for sure.
Yep.
And then where did you rank Drake? Because you had an OVO.
Drake was my number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Third.
My third?
Because I feel like Drake is just like everybody's either top 3, top 2, top
fair.
1.
I really
fair.
like Cole. I really like
Cole,
Cole,
baby,
and
that's
I
my
really
number
and I
one.
really like Kendrick too, obviously. But
You heard his new album?
the newest album,
Yes.
Yeah, Kendrick
He
just
dropped one like.
dropped. Yeah,
oh yeah,
I
he
haven't
just
heard-
put.
I
I
haven't
saw
heard
that.
it.
I
haven't
didn't
heard
listen
it.
to
I
it.
haven't listened to it either. I need to sit
But
down.
like Section 80,
Oh,
I fuck with Section 80.
Yeah.
High Power.
Yeah.
What's that one? The Air.
So it's very, very lyrical.
I'm much more lyrics
So, okay.
over beats for sure.
Okay.
Like I said, like I used to make music, and
Yeah.
for me it was about writing, right,
Yeah.
and really
Okay.
trying to like.
How old are you,
Tell a
if you don't
story.
mind?
I'm 27.
27. Okay, so it's the same era. Because I grew up listening to Lil Wayne, so to me he's one of my top.
Carter
you know,
3,
it's just
yeah.
like Carter 3. You know, he came out with his mixtapes. You know, killed
No
it for
Ceilings,
me.
that was a
No
crazy
Ceilings,
tape.
yeah.
Yep.
So I grew up listening to Lil Wayne, and to me it was like, and I think it's just everybody. Because if I ask Casey who's his top, you know, he'll give me a different answer. It's because what he grew up, what that impact made on him. You know what I'm saying? Who was your top?
I mean, I'm a big J. Cole fan. J.
J.
Cole's
Cole's
my
one.
number one right now.
What's
Oh,
the album
yeah.
for you?
Honestly,
Born
it's
Sinner?
Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night
It's
Lights
the
is
one that
crazy.
came out before Sideline Story.
Yeah,
Friday
yeah.
Night Lights goes. But yeah, I've been following Cole since the come up. So just to see, like, honestly, when I
Dollar and a
seen him,
Dream, eh? The
Dollar and
tour?
a Dream.
Did you
I
go to
remember my boy. So the one in Dallas I did. And
Yo.
bro, check this out. So me and my boys are in OKC, and we call everywhere in Dallas. And I called the. It ended up being at House of Blues.
Okay.
Everywhere we called, we were like, "Hey, this is Mark from Dreamville. Where do we park the buses tomorrow?" The only place was House of Blues, and House of Blues was like, hold up, who is this? And I was like, Mark with Dreamville. They put me on hold, and they're like, that we don't know a Mark. And I was like, House of Blues. Bro, me and my boy, front of the line, you get him for $1, obviously.
Yeah.
And he tweeted it out, House of Blues, like everyone showed up, and he performed Friday Night Lights. So I saw the Dollar and a Dream tour with Friday Night Lights.
That's a sick story.
in Dallas.
That's a core memory.
How long ago was that?
Bro. This was probably in like 2014, right when Forest Hills Drive. So I watched Forest Hills Drive's tour because he had like a big city tour and then a small city tour. And I did this small city in OKC. And then 2 weeks later, he did the Dollar and a Dream because he always does it during his tour. 3 random locations, and one of them was Dallas.
Wow.
Interesting. It's
Cole, man.
Cole, if you
and to see him like
evolve,
he always
his evolution.
He always talked about grinding, like I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna make it, Dollar and a Dream, this, that, and then he makes it, and he has this Forest Hills Drive album, and the Forest Hills Drive album, he kind of explains his life. He goes through like Wet Dreams, he goes through Tale of Two Cities, choosing the hood or choosing rapping, and then he ends it with Love Yours. And I was just like, and then the dude ends up selling the Rollies, selling
J.
the
Cole fan
Benz,
too?
selling everything, and he
Yeah,
ends up riding
hell yeah.
the bike around Manhattan. And I'm like, bro, like, and you spit Love Yours, like, and the only reason I've been coming up the whole time is because I've been bumping your shit on the come up, and then you made it, and this is, and like, that's my guy. We get to interview J. Cole,
it's
which
raps.
we're putting out there.
He's
we're
one
gonna,
of my guys too. It's
I
so
can't
hard
wait to
for
chop
me.
it up with him.
But yeah, like J. Cole's definitely one of my guys, and just mentality wise, I can listen to like 10 of his interviews and just be like, damn, he's just so into
really
like
smart.
he's very smart, very different,
Good message.
and
Good
good
energy,
message.
good message.
Yes, so it's just like stay true to yourself. That's what I get from all my idols. Stay true to yourself. You know, like J. Cole's one. I like Russ. Just the way he
was
thinks.
here last night?
He was here last night.
He was, yeah, it's crazy.
We didn't know. We were like,
It-
we should.
I'm seeing the billboards and I'm like, is Russ performing tonight?
You know,
And I
he,
see-
he pulled up to VCon, eh? Yeah.
yeah, he's very good friends with
Him and
Gary.
Gary hanging out, yeah.
Damn. We missed that. You know,
That was the welcome
But
party.
I'm a massive Russ fan,
yeah.
especially his older stuff. I found him on SoundCloud because I was listening to something in classic SoundCloud. What it would do is next song would be random, right? And so, what's got a chick? I call her Lola.
No, what you want?
What you want?
you
okay?
want?
What you
so,
want?
so,
What
so
you
that
need.
shit came next, and I listened to it, and I was like, oh, this is a really good song. Let me click on the artist. and I start listening to all his songs, and they're all good. And so, it's funny because now I've heard him talk about this in interviews, but he's like, a lot of my fans are hardcore because I have a deep catalog. So when they find one song, they become a fan overnight because they listen to 20, 30 in a row and they like them all. And now they're a hardcore fan. And so that's actually what happened to me. And then I saw him perform once in Montreal.
That's in Montreal?
Yeah.
Oh, dope. All right. So we talked about you traveling. Now you have an open view, changing it up. Where is the first place right now you can go? You works aside, you pause life for a week. Where are you going?
I weirdly want to go to Croatia.
Why?
Croatia.
I don't know. I just
the views. I mean, have you seen it? The views.
It's calling me. Yeah. I don't know why.
Dope.
That's definitely it.
Dope. Yacht Week. Yeah. So I've been on 2 different Yacht Weeks. I went Yacht Week BVI and I went Yacht Week Greece.
Yeah.
And what I loved about Yacht Week was it's like an adult field trip. So like I got to see the best of Greece. We got to go to like Hydra, Mykonos, Athens, but like they had all the best places and all those and restaurants, and like they just already knew where to go and reservations for the whole. So if you want to do something and you don't want to think and just see a place, and Yacht Week Croatia is one I haven't done.
Yeah.
And everyone on both Yacht Weeks always say Croatia are the weeks to do.
Ooh. Interesting.
So
okay.
And maybe this is an omen that says call Yacht Week.
Well, is it an open invitation? Like,
maybe we go rip that. And that's the only one I haven't done.
Next podcast, Croatia Yacht Week.
Croatia Yacht Week.
We'll be flown.
Insane. So what is one of the things, have you experienced burnout?
Currently.
Okay, so
let's talk about that.
Wow.
We talked about not having to drink.
Right.
Burnout. What's
Burnout.
up?
How does one control it?
Yeah, so I don't even know how to control it yet. I'm actually going through the motions of it right now, and I don't know if it's burnout or exhaustion or if those are the same thing. I like to call it exhaustion because I don't feel like it's a hard stop. I feel like it's we need to change some things. You know, I'm very tired right now. And so it was really launching the second company. You know, I had my first company really under control. I knew exactly how to do it. But I think with this new company, there was a lot of challenges I'd never faced before, right? And so 2 of the challenges is sales and product, interestingly enough. So in the marketing agency, the product's kind of formatted already. It's ads, right? And then the sales process, I would always build brand. So the sales would come to me. I would just have to basically make the numbers make sense, but I wasn't convincing anyone cold, right? And so when we're doing the certificate program, we actually iterated the product super hard, and we had to figure out how to sell it, which were 2 massive challenges that I put a lot of time into. Plus we were shooting 30 TikToks a week for this.
30. That was your other hustle. So
well, this is it. Like I was already doing.
So this is 30 for other businesses?
This is for another business. So it's funny. My total content output was 60 on my personal and 120 on the second account. So 180 pieces a month. But we were shooting all the modern marketing stuff every single week. So 30 a week. Right. So to come up with 30 ideas, shoot 30 ideas. And then we're also putting graphics out, which are separate ideas. Then organizing the teachers, then actually making sure all the people are posting, then building the course curriculum, then making sure the websites.
That would be my fear.
Plus, you got to remember, this is a second company.
Right.
I still got my regular company.
Right.
And so luckily enough, I really started to experience exhaustion right when my workload was kind of done. It then transitioned to, okay, everything's built, everything's rolling. Now we have to sell it. And my partner is the sales lead. It's not my job. And so I actually could really step back, let him do his thing. And, you know, I called, you know, all my friends and I told them what's going on because, you know, we work on a lot of projects together. And for me, it's really about the first step is getting to more of a balanced life where I don't feel tired. That's step 1. Don't feel tired. Then once I don't feel tired, I have to now design my life so that I don't go back into it. You know, and so that's what I'm going through right now. So a really timely question.
Like going back into it, it's like it's not being tired, but going back into what? Like going back into like a routine that's unhealthy, like a routine where you're doing too much.
It's interesting,
output,
right? Like I really love what I do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But just because you love something doesn't mean your body can sustain it.
Facts.
Right? Facts. And so it's very interesting because I wake up passionate, but I don't feel the energy.
End of the day, you're just like,
and you start to get stressed and anxious because, for instance, for me, I was looking at my to-do list. I've been doing this for 4 years. I was looking at my to-do list and I was like, this is a normal week or even a light week a little bit. why am I stressed? Why am I anxious? And it was because I didn't have the energy to even address anything. If I got an unexpected email, I would be anxious and stressed because I didn't have the energy to take on anything unexpected, that it drove me to a place. And then it gets scary because you're looking at your to-do list and you're like, there's nothing wrong. Looking at the finances of the business, there's nothing wrong. Why am I feeling this way? And for me, I've always been able to get out of it because I can identify it and fix it. But when you can't identify it, you now are in a state of like, okay, I'm feeling it. There's no reason I'm feeling it. How do I get out of it?
But is it because I'm feeling it because I have these other visions of where we need to be on my timeline and we're not really there yet?
No, it's because it's straight exhaustion.
Straight exhaustion.
And that's what it was. There was nothing wrong with my to-do list. My body had just given up.
Yeah.
And so that's where I pinpointed it, and it was through conversation. I talked to a lot of people about it, and that was the reoccurring theme, right? And it's frustrating because what do you have to do? You have to sit there and relax.
Yeah.
You know, it's like...
And that's why maybe travel will be... Like, it's always like that kid that's stuck on a problem on homework and then takes a break, watches a movie, and then comes back and is like, oh, that's the problem solution.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of like... So maybe that could be it for you, like taking a break of a week and then forgetting everything.
And let me wrap this up with the interesting part about how my brain works. I was talking to Deepak. It's so funny. I was talking to Deepak, and I was telling him... He was one of the last person I talked to because he was very busy. By the time I talked to him, I'd already figured out my plan. And I basically was like, yo, this is everything I'm experiencing, but don't worry. This is what I'm going to do. Then this is what I'm going to do. Then this is what I'm going to do. And Deep just goes, man, this guy even crushes Burnout. That's what he
Let's
said.
go.
You overcome it.
Let's go.
100%.
That's the boy.
But the last thing I was going to say is like, while I was going through it, while I was in it, like, and I remember I called my mom, I broke down. Like I was deep.
I've been there.
While I was in it, bro, I remember thinking, this will be the best thing that ever happens to me because it's forcing me to build the right way. And this hopefully will inspire someone who's going through it because they're going to watch this in 5 to 10 years. They're going to see where I'm at then, be inspired by me, but be feeling this right now, watch this interview and be like, man, he got through it. I'm going to do that too.
Yes.
And so there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Hell yeah.
100%.
Good advice.
100%.
And that would be...
Totally agree with that.
That would be my fear going into something like marketing and like... It's because of that burnout, because I've already been there, right? I had my regular job, and then I was doing also weddings, photography, and then I had this. So I kind of went through the whole, like, and it was more like the post-production side of things, and I was just burnt out, you know? So I was like, what should I do? And, you know, I ended up quitting the whole wedding thing. We did it for a year. My buddy had done it for 10 plus years. Yeah. And I joined ventures with him on that, and we did it, but it was like just too much to kind of jiggle. And I was like, man, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of like hesitant of like trying something, but I know I have to do it. Yeah. If I want to keep evolving and I know I have an eye for certain things and I, you know, have the skill set for it, I know I have to. Like, I know, because it's like what I can, if I can make some and reinvest it into this and, you know, keep growing and keep making content for a living, I'm going to do it.
100%.
It's always been one of my goals.
I think burnout just comes honestly because
it's part of.
I think it's honestly just comes down to patience. I moved, got out of the military, got out of the Navy, moved back to home to Albuquerque. I was there for a year, and then I took an opportunity to take an internship in Oklahoma, and it was through a family friend. It was like, who's the smartest person I know? How do I get in that room? And I got in that room, and he introduced me to all these people, but for a stagnant 3 years, I just worked for the organization. Always had plans of like creating my own company. And there were times in working through the organization that I couldn't get this promotion or this. And I felt like, well, why don't I just go back home, be a firefighter or something, get an average salary and be with my friends, my family. And I feel like you get that because my end goal was always business, create a business. How do I do it? And then you hit sometimes this stagnant period, and it may be a year, maybe 6 months, maybe 2 years. But I really feel like that Gary Vee patience shit is real, because then all of a sudden I met this guy and he was like, you know what? I love that idea of leasing slot machines, tribal casinos. They don't do it with the small casinos in Oklahoma. How about we go 50-50 equity? I can only pay you $60,000 instead of $100,000 what you're making, but I'll give you 50% equity. And then it just worked out. And then I was able to, and then the omens came, but there was a point where I was going to quit just because I was like, I don't just want to work for the organization. organization. Like I met this guy, but then I took the internship, then I grinded, did everything I needed to do within the company, but it didn't work out because someone didn't like me or someone didn't want to hire me for this. I was too young, or I was too, you know what I mean? So there's always, I feel like patience at the end of the day. Because I feel like you have a vision for your mind where you want to be, and you know at the end goal, this is exactly what it is. And sometimes maybe, you know, you got two companies and this company's making the revenue it is, but patience.
Yes.
100%.
So Hayden, if you had to go back 5 years and tell yourself something, what would that be?
If I had to go back and tell myself something 5 years ago, now, if I knew what I knew now, it'd be you're right. You know what I mean? I think when you're quitting your job and starting your thing, and you know, you're always like, you know, somewhat second guessing yourself. So I think I'd give myself the positive affirmation, like, nah, you really got it. Because I think I'd go a lot quicker with a lot more confidence.
How does one combat that, like self-doubt? Because I think we all
self-doubt hits a lot.
It hits everybody. At a certain point, it's
I actually think it's part of the entry fee, right? I think you have to prove to yourself that you are that guy. You know, you can have confidence, and I'm sure some people are just straight up born with it. But I think you actually have to pay the entry of like, okay, I'm going to go out there, put myself out there. And then once it works, feel that confidence, right? Like actually know it and look in the mirror and be like, well, I am kind of that guy now, you know?
Good stuff. Yeah, I like that. I like that information. I feel like, because like I said, we all go through it, and maybe somebody wants to start following their dreams, following their passion, and they have a little self-doubt. What if? Just do it. Do it. And,
100%.
You know, you could always go back to
and
whatever
it's
you got.
It's base hits. Like I remember even when I started the business with Mark, it was like, let's just get base hits, man. Let's get 10 slot machines in this casino. Let's go meet with this base hits.
Yeah.
And then that builds the callus of like confidence. Yeah. Like shit, I got an RBI this last week. I got 3 base hits. Yeah. Like boom, 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 boom. That's the confidence.
100%.
Yes, amazing. I think we covered a lot.
Man,
this was really good.
This was awesome.
Amazing
really good.
podcast.
It's good to meet
Love
you.
it. Yeah,
with you guys as well, man.
Yes.
This was meant to be for sure.
Anything else you would like to add before we wrap this up?
No, not really. Like I think the core thesis of my life is like, whatever you want to do, you can do it. You just got to put in the work and the execution, right? It's one thing to have a plan. A lot of people like to sit and think, right? But it's about the execution. My word last year for New Year's was execution. I wanted to stop thinking and start doing. I think people like Deepak, for instance, are a lot more innate to execution. It's just somewhat of a blessing where it's like they don't really worry about the mundane details. They just go for it. And that's something that I'm trying to embody more and trying to inspire people to do, because at the end of the day, the strategy is actually built out of the execution. That's the secret.
Amazing. That's
I always
good.
say, I'm like, you want a job, bro? And you want to go, say you want a job at the local sheriff's department. Well, go look up the sheriff and see where he goes to church. See where he goes and see what really, and then go to that church and say, you take the extra mile. And there's always ways to dig and find an edge.
So many.
Find your leverage.
Yes. It's like my homie, I told him he wants to be an artist, right? A musician. And I'm like, bro, just maybe go on Twitch and say, hey, I got music so you can put in the background. Just send it for free. Let them do, and people are going to be like, who's that in the background? And just find ways.
I remember Sales 101. I'd walk into casinos and I'd talk to folks and I'd be like, he's a Boomer Sooner fan, no Oklahoma State, 3 kids, 1 plays football. Like, bro, yeah, you leverage execution. You did hit it, because some people are, and I am that person that likes to like, let's not think about all the details. Just go, let's just make, but there's a balance to that. There's a blessing, that is a blessing, but there's a balance to saying, hey, let's be accountable and let's at least make sure we execute.
But you know what I think it is, bro? I think guys like you are going to win. You just have to have a counterpart that is the more normal person, that is the more calculated, the more strategic.
Partnerships.
You know what I mean? 100%.
Yeah, because we can't all be good at it. I mean, unless you're Gary Vee, I guess. But even he got started early in partnerships. He got his dad with the liquor store. And
that's right.
His dad's employees taught him things. And life's just a long fucking journey. But yeah, I agree with you. Find the counterparts, just like you and I. Yin yang. You love this content stuff. I didn't even have a TikTok.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Bro. I still don't have a personal TikTok. But we're doing it, and we're a yin yang. So
yeah, and I think with friendship and circle in general is like, how can we provide value for each other? Like Casey knows a whole different world of networking and meeting people, and I know this content stuff, and like we just help each other grow in so many ways that I just think it's
Best advice I ever got was no deal's a good deal unless it's a win-win-win for everybody.
100%. And I want to leave on this too, because this is something that hit me on a phone call I was on years ago. At the end of the call, the guy goes, "Oh, before we jump off, is there anything I can do for you?"
Be it service.
He just straight up, and we were just having like a cordial call. It wasn't even like a hardcore business thing. We're just getting to know each other. He's like, "Hey, is there anything you're like trying to do right now? Because I might be able to help." And I forget what I said at the time, but he's like, "Oh, like I actually have a buddy who XYZ. I'm going to call him right now and I'll try to get you on email with him." And all of us, it's genius, because now I'm like, I love this guy.
Yep.
Like I owe this guy. You know what I mean? And it was just such a simple question. "Hey, what can I do for you?"
What can I do for you?
Good stuff, man. Where can they find you on TikTok? Because I feel like they're going to give value.
Yeah. Hayden Cashion, Hayden
We'll
Cashion. On TikTok, and on Instagram, same thing, but with a dot in between the Hayden and Cashion.
We'll put that there on your introduction. We'll put your TikTok at the end. We'll put your TikTok there. Go to this TikTok. You're going to find a lot of value. We just are wrapping up our first podcast here at VCon here in Minneapolis. Thanks to Hayden that made it possible. So we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Cheers, boys.
Let's go.